Welcome to The Cosmos, the podcast for curious souls, open minds, traveler hearts, and the wild range of culture. My name is Kim, I'm your host, and I'm very excited to go into this episode today. Hey you, hey you. Welcome to everyone who is listening today. It is a really big honor to me. I have Izaias Mendoza in front of me. We are connected from Guatemala to Germany. I have a very special connection to Guatemala, and he has a very special connection to Germany. We will talk about it in the next couple of minutes. And I want to dive with you directly into it. Izaias is my teacher. I did the Cacao Facilitator training with him. And to be honest, looking back, I didn't know what to expect. The only thing I knew, I needed to go to Guatemala. And it was a quite interesting sensation because I remember I met you in Berlin, and I went to a fire ceremony because I think it was something over Instagram, and I saw you and I was like, okay, I need to go there. And so I remember that I just came back from Peru, and we were sitting outside in Brandenburg around the fire. And I had my first Mayan cacao fire ceremony with you, and then I heard that you are also teaching in Guatemala, and so my whole system was like, okay, I'm going to Guatemala. I didn't know how, and it was quite a trip. So welcome, Izaias.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for this invitation and inviting me to be in front of the camera and yeah, so happy to be here and to talk about. I don't know what we're gonna talk about today, but I'm sure we're gonna have fun. So I love sharing anyway.
Absolutely. I think I would like to start before we dive a little bit into also the topic of cacao ceremonies, because I feel this is something, especially here in Germany, there is a lot of ceremonies going on, and I would love to, yeah, be a little bit more precise in that. But first of all, I would like to honor the day and the energy of the day. And maybe some of you out there know the Tzolk'in calendar. Maybe you can say a little bit more about it. And also, I would love you to share a little prayer, if you like, for the energy of the day.
Oh, sure. Let's do a little prayer today
I have
because this
like
is a sacred. Nice. I have had already two cacao this morning. And I also was in an interview earlier, so I had some. I may have another one. So let's bring your hands in front of your heart, your cacao in front of your heart. Let's call the spirit of this day Washakitsi. This is the day of discipline, the day of our voice, the day of authority, the empowering ourselves. So let's call this energy to guide us to go through this interview and to give us the patience and the words, the right words that needs to be heard and the thing that needs to be come up, the truth about the things, the authenticity. نملك كشكا نملك كشتشلك تكون الوشن نكسنش نقال لقلق سقي مالتيوش كل كشكا خشوش بشلك تخيك سليمات مالتيوش نملك خا واشخيصي نملك فيه خيك سليمات كما نملك خا ميكا هارش كبير نملك خا تشتكري نملك خا ونقيختك ايش سيباخ وقت نتسخن كما كان نملك خا إنكو تشنكو تختير نملك خا نخوش 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 خوشيك نوش نداغ نقل سطح نملك خا تبيهنا تطيخونا نملك خا يتكتي أنو نأوغ سقبو سقميك نملك خا أنا تعشق أشاق نملك خا تنسي نملك خا واشخيطي فالبرقي فقبل قيخ برسيك بريكم أتكوشكا أتكوشك شلو مالكيو سخا
Oh. Mhm.
Maltia.
Mhm. Mhm. Oh. Mm.
What are you
Um,
drinking?
I have a cacao tea. I don't have a cacao because I also had my cacao already. I think I'm at the state where I'm turning a cacao plant. I really it's intense. I also mixed it with rose after being with Mariana in the course. So it's quite interesting to have also the rose in it. And it helped me a
Beautiful.
lot. Yeah.
Mm.
Let's come back to you. As first of all, it's an honor to have you here. And I would like to go in my first question into really the Mayan tradition. And also, I would like you to go a little bit more into what it is and if you were really brought up in the Mayan tradition or it's something that you started to go into when you became older.
Well, I don't know what is older, but I will
19,
begin
20.
about. I am going to begin about a little bit about my story. Mm. So I am a Mayan indigenous uh, person. I grew up in this village called San Marcos La Laguna. It's in the shore of the lake Atitlan, Lago de Atitlan, Guatemala. And my family, my parents, my grandparents, and my great grandparents were a Kaqchikel people and were native people. They only spoke um, Kaqchikel, the native language. And my parents speak very, my father speak Spanish to defend himself, to respond to things, you know. And my mother barely speaks some words, and he speaks Kaqchikel. And I learned Kaqchikel when I was growing up, and I learned Spanish in school a little bit. And I finished my career as an accountant when I was in school. So learned English, Spanish there. But when I was 14 years old, I was working with an American. His name is Keith Wilson. Now his business called or known as Keith's Cacao. He was the like label or tagged as the chocolate shaman. So I was working with him when I was 14 years old and coming with all of these mind of Christian growing up family. So in my earlier years, I resisted to go to church. I feel like I don't feel God there. I don't feel like anything else. Like I don't find like the core, like something that call me, but to follow something else, something to find God somewhere else, but not in the church. So I resisted so much to go in the church. When I was working with this man, he introduced me to work with the energies, to work with it and to connect with. So he helped me to dive and connect with these energies and helped me a lot to feel something else more than what the church that talks about, more than what of this reality. And that led me to connect more with the roots with my ancestors later in the years. So that's where I connected with the spirit of cacao, with the energies, with a new age, with a new belief. It opened me a beautiful and a new door for me to understand life later, and that made me to have Keith Wilson as like a father, a teacher, a mentor in my life. And thanks to all that relationship that I was speaking with him every day because I was a gardener at that time. So I he taught me every word in English and different ways of how to use it, including like the puns that he used to play with, and I was contagious with that, with those words. So I do puns in the ceremonies. So and yeah, then when he was connected with the spirit of cacao, as he was giving a task in the earlier years. That's where I met cacao, because I didn't know cacao in my life before. Neither my family didn't work with, because they had um, Christian background, and my grandfather was a shaman. But that's where it stopped. So then, when I was 17 years old, I was called. I had a dream. It was giving a task in my dream. It was said that go and find the lost path of people here. And I was taking a cave. It was a bunch of elders, man and a woman, and then one of the women was holding the baby, and he gave me this message, this task, and I walk away, and I woke up, and I asked my father. I asked my father, like, asking, like, this is the dream that I had. What would be the path of people of here? And he said, oh, this is ceremonies, and these people who does this kind of things, they have died. If you're gonna ask this around, this is considered as bad, as evil, or witchcraft. People don't believe this anymore, because this was only used to pray for the earth, but not for God. And I understand that it's something that is prohibited or mysterious to find about. And I was talking to some people that I knew and I have trust with. I remember it was a white woman from the United States, and I talked to her about, and she said, "Oh, this is interesting. We have a ceremony planned on the next month. Would you like to come and join us?" And I said, yes. And I went to that day, and I saw this shaman. Well, you would call it shaman, but I saw this akir, and dressed very beautifully, and talking to the fire, and offering, and talking to his beautiful language. And I said, oh my God, that's how beautiful you speak to the fire, and the way how you pray to any language. You said, like, what are you saying? You also can do it. And I said, no. I am taught to pray in Spanish, because we are Christian, and we taught like this and like that. And he said, no, you can do it too. And I talked to him and said that I am here because I wanted to talk to you about this dream I had, and I would like you to reveal or say something about it, to interpret, because nobody has told me. I said, okay, to do that, you have to go to my town, and we got to go to the sacred table, and we got to talk about it. And I said, okay, let's do it. We made a schedule, and I went there. I was waiting for him for 2 hours. I was hungry, and he appeared. He showed up, and he said, oh, I'm sorry, I was late. He was like, after he said he was going to be there in 15 minutes, and after 2 hours. So he said, let's have a soda. And we enter into a bar. He got to have some beers, and he find some more friends. And I said, I came here to find a drunk person. So what I'm doing, my father drinks, and now I came here to find this shaman who drinks, and I'm gonna have some food, and I'm gonna come back and pick you up. And he said, okay, yeah, go and come back for me. And I walk into the market, and I had some food, and I was asking to myself, like, what am I doing here? Is this really the path? Is this really the person who was going to guide me or something? I mean, like, what I'm doing here? My family's Christian. Like, why I'm doing here? There's a little voice ran into my head and say, hey, you are you're hurrying it up. This is too fast. This is not the right time. The right time will come. Go back. I just ate and we went back, took the buses back. And then I find some other people around the lake, said like, oh, it must be your Nawal. Let's teach. Let's have us to teach you, and this and that. And I said, okay, this would be nice, but I didn't felt like so much connection with them. But I went and I found this woman. Her name is Candelaria Shitamul. She became my teacher, and I talked to her and told her the story. And she said, oh, poor of you. You have been finding difficulties to find your spiritual path. Let's do a ceremony to find out why you're being shown this dream. And we did the ceremony, and we were, she was asking to the fire. And in the middle of the fire, she said, why you have asked to Izaias, what do you want? And the answer she got, your grandfather is calling, inviting you to be on the circle of the shamans, of the elders. And I asked her like, hey, how do you know about my grandfather? And she said, I don't know. This is what I was told. I said like, oh my God, this is strange. How do you know about it? And okay, we finished the ceremony, and I asked her, then what is the next step? What is the requirements to become this shaman? Do I need to drink animal blood or feathers or plants? What do I need to because I am with a witch, that's what it would be called. And she said, like, no, you don't have to do anything like that. What you need to do is to get married. And I said, like, get married? She said, yes, get married. Okay, get married. I was 20 years old at that time, and I have been together, Isabel and I. I mean, we have been like in a relationship, Isabel and I, for 3 years. And Isabel has participated in the ceremony with Keith and with me. And always I have prayed to spend my life with somebody who would understand my spirituality, my craziness, my belief enough, rather meeting somebody who wants to go to the church, who wants to get married in the church, and who wants to follow other people. I want somebody to spend time with me and to spend time together to do like these things. And Isabel was there, and so we have been together. And then a year later, we became pregnant of Johnson, of our 13 years old child now. And I went to my teacher and said like, well, now I am married, so what is the next step? And he said like, look up in the Mayan calendar, when is your Mayan birthday? And I look it up. It was 2 months after our child has born. 3 days later, it was election in Guatemala. And we have told to our family that we have voted for the opposite politician. And they got angry and they kicked us out of their house. And we went to our teacher on my pre-initiation, and they said like, look, this is so beautiful ceremony, but we don't have where to go. We were kicked out of our family's house. I have a wife, I have a little child, so what am I gonna do? And she said, perfect. My teacher says, what do you mean perfect? She said, because you said your family is Christian. If this is happening now, this means that you got to begin from zero, from your own resources. I don't have where to go. And you say, this is perfect. And she said, yes, don't worry. Where I live, there's a place where you can be. I just need to pay the bills, the electricity and the water, and that's it. When I say we moved to her house, and during the week, our family said like, please don't leave and forgive us. And we healed that relationship with our family so fast. So, but I wanted to be independent always in my life. I have been one of my prayers is to be independent and to decide what I want to do and to be where I want to go and to decide for my own rather than depending on my parents. So I finished my pre-initiation 1 month before I was going to receive my shamanic path. I got together my family and said, well, this is what I have decided to do. I want to invite you to my ceremony. She said, like, why you're doing this? She was crying. She thought I was lost. She thought I
Your
was
mom.
taking my mother. Yes. She thought that I was like I was going to following the path of the devil and wrong path, what she has done. There's a religion, what people is going to say about me. I am too young to do the ceremony. Why I have decided if I'm not too old to do these things, to speak about these things? And I replied that this is why I love to do. This is why my soul wants. And she said, I am expecting you to bring your child to be baptized in the church. And I said, like, oh, it's too late because we have baptized our child when he was 9 months old and our child was 11 months at that time. So she was crying and she said, okay, so if this is what you want to do, we're going to support you, but we're not going to go to your ceremony. We're going to respect, but we're not going to go. Until now, our family doesn't come to our ceremony, and but they support us watching our children, making food for us, or going to pick up us, or taking our material supplies into different places, or help us. They admire us. I am being the number 8 of my nine siblings. So I am the youngest one of the boys. So I besides that, I become responsible, reliable to have a relationship and to be able to be responsible, to mature enough to be like a mediator when there are conflicts in our family or when it's time to take decisions. So I've gained that respect and admiration from them. So this is what I am, and now I am traveling the world and doing
How old
ceremonies.
were you? How old were you when you were initiated?
23 years old.
Wow. When you look back to your 23-year-old self and now, how has your relationship changed to ceremony? And I mean, I know this, you can't do that like in a few words, but maybe there's like some aspects you want to dive into. What has changed? Like, have you, for example, your relationship to the elements, maybe also aspects taking cacao. Yeah, how looking back to the 23-year-old you and today, who are you today in comparison to the 23-year-old one? What have you learned?
Oh my goodness.
It's a big one, no?
Yeah, it's a big question. When I was 23 years old, I was so pure in my life, so innocent. So I had so much time for myself and for my family. My mind was clear. This is what I wanted. And nobody could change my mind. Nobody could change my feelings. Now I am 35 years old, same as my wife. we have experienced so much thing, so much situation, so many places, so many people. We have so many stories to say. So we have so many tastes. And it has become heavy. It has become heavy. But this is life. This is what I have committed myself to. It's heavy. I feel like I have been a bigger hard drive, holding so many memories, holding so many stories and experiences, prayed so much, experienced so much, and I have met thousands of people. And I keep it as a treasure. It's beautiful. This path I have, looking for the path that I have now and going back to when I was 23 years old. I have made the right decision. There's no other path to choose but to find my own path. This is a hard time, a difficult time. When it becomes too tiring. But when you're into ceremony, it's magical. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful, but it's tiring. So beautiful, but it's tiring. It's work, and it's offering, and it's finding yourself feeling of bliss, feeling connected. When you're ceremony, this is the right thing to do. I am so happy that I have taken that path.
Has there been in the last, 23, it's 12 years, has there been any doubt?
I remember when I was 24 years old until my 29. It was very hard time for me. I had a fungus in my body called Candida. That was a big teacher for me in the back years. I thought I was going to die. And I was in Mexico for my first time. I felt so long that trip. And it brought me like the death, the presence of my family, valuing my life, valuing my family, each member of my family, my moments. And it took me time to realize and to find out what I had because I was going to the doctors. There's nothing was found on me. I went to test after test after test. I didn't had anything. I was healthy. I changed my diet. Nothing was found until I I uh, I consulted to Saint Google.
Oh,
Saint
what did Saint Google to say?
Saint Google said that the symptoms I had, and it brought me many comments and things. And I found out I was taking so much sugar. So I took out the sugar out of my diet, the carbohydrate. I got skinner, and I felt like so clean in my life, and that my health got changed so much, and I have more revitalized, and I had so much energy. During those years, I went I had that, and on my year of 25, I had depression. I went into depression. I was doubting myself. I think that's why what you would call depression. I don't know how to define depression, but I felt like it was like I was going down. Why am in this path? I am not too old. Why am not normal? Why can't I just do this? Why cannot
I
just
think
do
there's
that?
so many people out there who relate to these questions.
And why I'm not like this? Why I'm not just a simple person? Why life is so complicated? Why I I have a family. I am young, and why I cannot just go out there and travel and do this and do that? Why? I was questioning myself so much. And I said, like, I'm not old enough to do this thing. Why I was chosen to do this? Why? What's so special I had to deal with all these? Why I would have to deal with it? I was doing ceremonies and I was like very happy outside. When I go back at home, when it goes back to the night, I was like, I was down again. I was feeling like dying until when I was in ceremony. I remember it was Akpu that time, that day. I was in ceremony and I said, I preach so much about the sun. If really the ceremony it's the center, if it's really the ear of God, where are you? Why you're not showing yourself into my body? I just closed my eyes and I asked to the sun, if you really exist, where are you? Come to my life. And I began to visualize that there's the star in there, in my consciousness, in my life, in my vision. I was asked to expand this light in my life, to expand this light. It's myself. And I found that sun and I put it in my heart. And that stayed with me and that expanded in my body. And my life at that night, it changed.
But is it something you have to nurture? Like, for example, Luna Semilla, like a seed, or is it something, it's like, as you said, it stayed and since then it always was there? Was it like a sun you have to feed?
It's like, for me, it's my energy, my nawal, my spirit. It always was there. I wasn't seeing it. I wasn't feeling it. And I brought it. It was like a reflection. It was a moment that I had. When it came into me, it stayed there in my life. My life at that evening changed. And I slept. I thought it was temporarily. I thought it was going to go away and I'm going to go back again because as I was used to. And it stayed. My emotional state changed. In this state, I felt more positive. I was like so happy. I was like, wait a minute, what happened? And I believed more and believed more. So I am happy. I'm this. I am that. I began to believe in my values. And it's like, oh my God, it's something has changed in my life. And that was a change that I received, or that came to me, or the cycle of the darkness was over. So
Do you believe
that was
it has to do with the right questions, that we ask more questions? Because as you talked about the Nawal, I would love you to go into that for a moment, because that has been also one of my experience amongst many in Guatemala, because I ask for understanding of the Nahual. I would say it
Yes.
was one embodiment that, as it was both, but it was like getting onto 4 feet, because I wanted to feel it. And so I would love to know, like, I would love you to go into, when you talk about, like, you didn't say commune, but communing with the Nawal, living it, connecting with it. Was that the moment that you kind of felt like there was like this connection and it stayed? Or was it like the question, or was it the moment? It also feels like, when you talk about a little bit, like a moment of awakening, like this moment of like, okay, now I got it, like it's there. Or how would you, in your words, describe it?
I would describe it as like I felt like the need. It's like, for me, this energy was like a person like, I say you are like a doctor, you say that you're a medical, you say you're the sun, you're an inspiration, you're the teacher. If you really are the teacher, if you really are the sun, why you're not showing myself, you're not showing in myself, why you're not in me? If you really exist, come to me. It was like, it was like a hunger, like a need of coming, of receiving. And I think, I just, my guessing is like, the energy replies like, okay, if you really want that, then just receive it. It always have been there. You were busy on other things. Now, if you really need it, you really get it. And I took it, and I embodied it, and I empowered it, and I believed it, and I made it like it's mine. Nobody's going to take it from me. I'm going to receive it, like, to believe fully in it. And for me, that was a big impact.
Did also then your relationship to your noch, as to your woodpecker, change? Like, did you already start when you were younger to dream or to connect with your Nawal, or was that also something that happened after your initiation, or within the journey to be initiated? So, like, the question is more, have you been raised with the Mayan calendar? Because you said you were raised Christian, so I guess not, but maybe yes, you were. Or when was your first contact with you Nawal?
It was when my teacher took my now find out about my Nawal. I didn't know about my Nawal before. I didn't know about it before. My father was not. My parents were not connected with the Nawal at all. At all. They know that there's a Mayan calendar. They know there are sacred days, but they just don't have that relationship with, or they don't use candles, or they don't pray it for the energy. It's just, for them, it's just like any other day. And only those who follow the calendar, those are weird people, strange people, or extraordinary. So they didn't know about it. So I didn't know about my Nawal until my teacher discovered it. It was, yeah, my woodpecker. So my connection began from there. And but I didn't really empowered until when I was initiated. I wasn't really, yeah, it's my Nawal, yes, it is this and that, but I didn't really feel it until I was given to me through different symbols, through different objects that blessed. It was given to me like it was giving a collar. I was giving my sute, my cloth for
Like
my
your
head.
yes, Mhm.
Yeah, I was given a faja, a belt. So that's what I was given and to use in my ceremonies. So for me, this is like I am wearing my nawal. I am wearing and I am marrying to it. I am embodying it. I am owning it. So this is me. I am this energy. And yeah, so it began to roll, like it began to spin like a wheel for me.
And how do you see your Noel today when you
Ooh.
feel into it?
I feel that it's going so fast. It's uh it's being Noch, but also transforming itself into Khan,
Mhm.
into the next energy. I think my life rhythm is going so fast.
Mhm.
As it going so fast, I feel like the heaviness of the energy for more responsibility.
Mhm.
So it's beautiful, but also it's intense.
Mhm.
I don't know if you have noticed that on yourself, that life gets intense the more that you work with your energy, the more strong it gets, the more gifts it show to you, the more it blossoms through you, but also requires you to
You
be
can't cheat anymore. Like I feel, no, let's put it this way. It's super hard to lie to myself anymore. Like certain things I can't get away with anymore because it hurts me. And before it kind of, I just went along. But now communing with my Noel and also with the energies of the days, which I have been doing since I went out of the training, is something, it's beautiful because in some ways, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. And then I just feel into that. And one thing what I felt as being raised in a society like Germany is thinking about gratitude. It's like I think about gratitude, but this feeling like that it arrives in my body and I can just sit there and be grateful, for example, for the rivers that are flowing here. And I think when I would pick one thing that I learned from this journey in Guatemala, amongst many, but one thing was the feeling of gratitude in a way I never felt in my life. Like this overflowing, and at the same time, there comes a responsibility with it, but there's this gratitude and seeing things, the little things. Like the other day, I was sitting on the balcony here, and I was like seeing this spider who took her space amongst the strawberries. And then I realized she actually had a red butt and her body was green. And I was observing her, and I saw like when she captured a little insect, and it also comes always back to when there's, for example, the energy of the spider in the Mayan calendar, and then I'm like, okay, wow, so what does this even mean to have a net? Why does she pick? Like I'm starting to ask myself new questions, and yeah, it's something, mm, and also that in each and every moment that the elements are present. Sometimes, I mean, yeah, I can't do like I don't have a fire, and this is also not something I'm initiated by, but there's a candle, for example. Then I'm like, wow, I have a glass with, for example, flowers, and there's water in it. There's air coming into the room. I have my candle, which is burning, and yes, and I'm sitting on the earth in the best case, or at least on the ground in the apartment, or sometimes outside. So I'm like, wow, the elements are always present. And it may sound strange, but I think you know what I'm talking about because you have also guided so many Westerners, to generalize for a moment, to how we have been disconnected from the elements, from beauty, to be grateful. It's something that should come, actually, we are born with that, and we lost it. And for me, it's interesting because one thing I also would like to share with you, because it has been part also that the journey started with you. Now I'm just 3 days here at my mom's house, and she's the one who puts the roses, or she was the one who puts the flowers. She actually has an altar now in her room when I came back, where I was like, I just stayed 2 months and just followed through, and then I'm coming for 3 days. And there's an altar in her room with a little flower. And I'm like, and I didn't come and I didn't teach. I didn't come there and say, like, you have to. In the beginning, she was watching me preparing my cacao and like looking at me like a bruja. What are you doing? Why are you singing to a cacao? Like, what's going on with you? And I just was like, I didn't defend myself. Just like, because I would like to. And as soon as I stopped defending myself, I felt that she got curious. And then like there was a moment when she sat down, she's like, can I cut with you the cacao? I was like, of course. Then the next day or 2 days later, she's like, what are you singing? And so I kind of, and it opened up to the point before I left back to Berlin that I sat with her and I had a cacao. And she asked me, she's like, so do I get a cacao today? And I'm like, of course. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you.
Oh, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. Like this makes my heart so happy that what you're doing, it's wonderful, and what we're doing here, it's wonderful. Because that means like the relationship are coming together, and maybe it's not ready to heal, but it's taking its moment, that understanding and coming and accepting each other, the difference, and understanding life, because whatever have happened before, we get separated, but instead of responding to that, instead of attacking or defending, you just watch what you have done, what you have gained by traveling, by coming to this training. Instead of fighting, let's do it together. And this is, yeah, I'm so happy to see that Cacao is doing its own job over there.
I would love to dive into 2 more questions, and one is actually because we just arrived there. What do you think is the magic about cacao, and why do you think right now in this time she is coming so far, like to all kinds of places in the world? And what is the third one? What is she for you?
What is she for me?
Yeah.
Oh, very. I may answer all of it at once.
Okay.
Because as you know, I speak so much, and I don't measure the words. The spirit of cacao, it's coming back to the earth, to the table, to the cup of the man. After when the man has abused the resources of Mother Nature, the tree of cacao is walking out of the forest to bring back balance and harmony to humanity that has lost in relationship to Mother Nature. And we have lost, we have abused the nature. And that's why she's coming to us. She's not going back to the nature, she's coming to us. Because the change we need to do it's in us. And her magic is not to bring the war. And her magic is not to complain. She's a very, very compassionate to all of us, because, oh, it's like saying like, oh, these poor people, what they lack is love. What they lack is patience. What they lack is harmony. They have become out of harmony. That's why they are acting like that. And she's coming out, reminding us to be in love again with ourselves. Because when you drink you drink cacao, what it does, it opens your heart. You feel your heart is like this, it's expanding. You feel your consciousness is so sensible, it's expanding. You feel your heart, it's beating faster. What it makes you is to have your blood purifying, it's regulating. So what I mean with this, that this is a metaphoric language. It says that it's coming back to balance the harmony that has lost in nature. The nature is our body, it's not the earth. If you're vegan, if you're not vegetarian, if you are like this or like that, oh, defending so much the nature, not cutting down the trees and defending or cleaning the water and whatever that you're doing. Thank you for doing that. I'm so grateful for you that you're doing that, those projects, and reusing and recycling. I'm so happy about that you're doing. But if you're not changing yourself, what you're gonna do is just like making a show. What you need to do is to change your consciousness. We have abused because we have learned to separate, because we're living in the city, because this is mine, this is my territory, this is my work, I am better than you, I am better than that, I want to win, I want to have success. Oh, you don't have to, you don't do it. So we became splitting ourselves, we became limiting. So when we drink cacao, we remember how much love we have, that we are one. Animal, plants, trees, and water, the elements, all of us, we are one. It's our brothers and sisters. Earth is our home. This body is our home. How much we have abused it. How much Coca-Cola do we put in it? How much things that we have put into. That's why it's giving up sadness, anger, competition, separating, egoists, all these things, because what you eat, that's what you become, right? So now we have become like this. We have become like that. We have disconnected from Mother Nature, and she is coming back in a form of cacao to reminding us that we are like this. We're humans. We're the same as everyone. So when you remember about loving yourself, then you would then you would understand loving your relationship, your family, your loved ones, your relationship. You're gonna respect your neighborhood, the people in the street, the Mother Nature itself. That's how we're gonna return together in harmony.
It's interesting. I have I have a friend of mine. She always asks me now. In the last couple of months, we talked a lot, and she's like, "Did you have your cup of cacao?" And I was like, "No, no." Then I call you later. And she even said, like, after the prayer and after the cacao, I mean, it's like an outside observation, but it's interesting because she said, like, "Yeah, Kim, you're different." So, and I mean, this is you can discuss about it, but what I feel is, and there I'm so with you, it heals relationship. It does. There's something, she opens up, and more compassion, more understanding. And then she opens up a space of curiosity between people. And then this is kind of like maybe new questions. And as you also said, which I also found, is then to ask the question of like, what am I going to put into my body? Like, what am I doing here? Okay, I'm drinking cacao, but at the same time, as you said, I'm destroying myself. So this is not really coming together. And I even feel like in that she pokes in. Yeah. Thank you. The last question before I would love us to close together is about the fire. I would like with everyone who is listening to the podcast, the moment when we had our closing ceremony, and I think you and Isabel, you were guarding the fire for over 11 hours. And what I found watching you, there was this moment when I was thinking about, for a moment I had this picture of like, okay, when you would be in Germany, would you sit there if it rains? Would you? And I was so touched by your endurance, but not because you endured, because you felt called by it. It was even like watching you, it was really this really, really deep commitment and love. So I would love you if it's okay for you to take us for a moment on the journey, what the fire for you is and how it also changed your life.
I'm not gonna cry today, do I?
Why?
The sacred fire. The sacred fire for me is the ear of God. It's a grandfather fire. It's the element that you cannot pollute. And the sacred fire deserves everything because it's a portal. It means all that you think of. It represents your mother, your father, your siblings, your family, your friend, your dead ones, your grandfather, your ancestors, your home, your project, the whole universe. So the grandfather fire, I protect it. I sing to it. I offer tobacco. I offer the cleanest thing, the purest thing that I can give to the sacred fire. So I dedicate my devotions to the prayer. I address myself beautifully to be in presence of the sacred fire. The words that come from my heart, it's the prayer that I give to the fire. Because the grandfather has changed my life and has changed the life of many other people. And it has been, the fire was held by my grandfather and grandfather, grandparents, ancestors. It was prayed. So the great grandfather, we give our offering, we give gratitude because the grandfather fire hasn't give us anything. The universe, God, as we call it, has provided so much to us. Look, it's providing the sun, providing us cacao, food, family, health, and all that what we have. We are complete. Look, we have 10 fingers and 10 toes. We are breathing. We have rain and we have life and we have children. And our way to give gratitude is through the fire. It's the element that to talk to the universe through to the fire. It's our interpreter. It's our bridge. It's our way to give gratitude. And we give it through elements, through offerings, through flowers. And so to the grandfather fire, we respect from us. We are jealous through sacred fire. When I was initiated, all the things that I use or wear, I wasn't permitted to use before I was initiated. I cannot go in there and touch the fire and move the fire. I can't. I have no permission. It's a sacred fire. And yeah, I had to be prepared to pray to the fire. We get permission. We get initiated for 9 months to prepare ourselves.
Not everyone can get initiated, no? It also depends how you know well.
There are requirements to do it. Everybody can do it, but not everybody is called to. Everybody wants, but not everybody feels the need of doing it. Because, oh, it would be nice to speak to the fire. It's a path. And this path, I have to talk with the fire. It's a commitment.
Also commitment, yeah. I wanted to say that it's a commitment. And I think it's interesting because in here, often I feel people do the things which is fine. Like I remember your words, like go to every cacao ceremony or go to the places and show respect. But there's sometimes moments where I'm sitting in there and I'm like, do you really feel what you're doing there? Or is it just something else? And it is so much, like everything's getting combined, like all kinds of tradition medicines and so on. And I'm just like, it's also something very energetic. And I would like to, in that, I know I said it's the last question, but I like to bring up one last topic. It's the topic of the teachers. And because you were talking about it a couple of times about initiation and about having a teacher. You have been traveling a lot also to Europe. How do you see our relationship to teachers and also to the topic of initiation and being also permitted in doing things? And what would you maybe even wish for, or what has been your teaching of having a teacher and also being a teacher?
In one, I don't know where to start because
No, I'll open the topic for you.
go by traveling and seeing people to see it all over. There's a lot of shamans in the air. When I say shaman, they're like fake people. There are a lot of fake people. They say, "Oh, I am a shaman." They're not shamans. I am not a shaman. Look, I have a watch. I have a cell phone.
What
I
is
am
a
living
shaman for you?
in this store, in this 3 stories. I'm not a shaman. I am speaking English. I'm not a shaman. I drink Coca-Cola. I'm not a shaman. So
I thought you don't drink it anymore, the Coca-Cola part.
No, I mean, like, I don't. I'm just making it up. But shamanism It's not a label. It's not a lifestyle. It's a way of being and living life. Shaman, we don't tag ourselves. The shamans lives in the nature. They don't have contact with the Western world. Spiritual people. And I present myself to people as I am Izaias. I'm privileged to speak a Mayan language and to know the path of my ancestors, but I am not, and everything I say is not the truth, total, unique way. There are several ways. The way how I am speaking is only one way, and I only know a very tiny little bit. I am still discovering. There's so much I need to discover. So people lack being grateful. People lack humbleness to their land. People are so much in control because if I give this, what about tomorrow? If I give this, what about tomorrow? And in term of the fire, when I'm offering to the fire, I buy offerings. One thing that I didn't, I see, I don't know if you were there when in one of the ceremonies. I was like, maybe I was like crying because there's no flowers. People didn't have flowers. People didn't have offerings. Nice, like, what you're here for? You don't have flowers. You don't have offerings. What are you gonna give to the fire? You come here to pray. What are you gonna ask? How are you gonna give? And suddenly, next morning, somebody ran into town and picked up a bunch of flowers. And it was so beautiful to see it. And I said, like, okay, are you happy? So it's one of the things is about giving. It's about giving because in Europe, always I understand the society, but they are not used to give and to share, to give gratitude, to connect. Oh, this is the land. Oh, thanks to the land that is here. I am here. My ancestors were here. They have lost that connection, and they need that walking because they're children. And this is something I was told by my people. Izaias and Isabel are just only talking to the tourists, to the foreigners, are teaching so much to the foreigners. They're just Europeans, they're just takers. Because they just take things, be like they have invaded our land before, but they're just takers. And I asked myself, well, I'm speaking English. There's a reason why I'm speaking English. There's a reason. I have a native language. If I have a native language, but I need to transmit it into English. I have this knowledge, I need to transmit it to English. And those people who were Europeans, also they have pain, they have struggles, they have lack, they have abuse, they have struggles in their life. Also, they need, if I have something to give to them, it's about teaching. So I'm gonna teach them what they lack, what they don't, what they need in their life. So I see people, foreigners, Westerns, I see them like children. They need teaching. They need a leader. They need somebody to teach them. They don't know. It's okay. So that's why when people come here half naked, it's okay. Next time when you come, dress yourself properly for the ceremony. And next time you come, bring offerings to the ceremony because you don't know. It's the first time you come here. You're a guest, but come over to the ceremony. This is the way. We don't like blah 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 like talk to them hardly. it's to teach them with patience. They don't know. They didn't grow up in the society. But if a person come from town, then they know already what's the ceremony. So they would bring candles and tobacco and incense. And so this is my mission. I feel like to re-educate people who don't know. Simple things, simple ways. So that's what I do. That's what I see. That's what I observed from
You know that for
my
my
child.
birthday, I did it's so interesting because I have this tree I like a lot. It's in Berlin in a park. And I did a little cacao ceremony with one other friend of mine, and we did it with her daughter, and we were decorating the tree. And it was interesting because, I mean, nobody's taking it away, but people start moving the plants. And Izaias was so touched because every single day I kind of watched how the plants were moving. You know, like I watched it for like 5 days. I know the plants got a little bit dry, but it was like they start sticking it to different places, and they like the decoration of the tree moved. And I was kind of like, I was watching this and I was like, and then I cleaned it up. And then when I had my birthday, we did a picnic because I was kind of like, we wanted to go into the beer garden and so on. And I thought, like, this is not me and I don't want to go there. And it was a proposition of someone else. And then I was like, what would you like to do? And then I'm like, I would like go to this tree and I would like to celebrate her and I would like to be in this park. But I would love that everyone brings flowers. And the first question was, why do I have to bring flowers? I was like, just bring them. And so we did like this huge mandala of flowers. And I was saying to everyone, like, we did the flowers in the center, and then everyone picked some, and then they were placing them one after the other. And it was so interesting how the conversations changed afterwards when we started to talk about it. And I asked everyone how was it for you, like, or did you put an intention? And it's like, yeah, it's unusual what we are doing here, but it's very beautiful. And then people started sharing, oh, the sunset is so beautiful here. Can you see that between these two trees the sun is going down? And wow, look at this. This is this type of tree. It is silver. It has these silver leaves. And I was kind of like, yeah, I don't know. No, I get
Yeah, you bring
tears.
back to the present moment. You bring back to the present moment. You make them to remember, oh, we exist.
It's like,
Oh,
oh,
this is here. So my father's this. Oh, this is my mother. You know, we bring values to the things that we have taken for granted. We have taken for granted that exist. So this is what's the beautiful ceremony that brings so much gratitude. There are three things that we talk about in the ceremony. We talk about liberation, to free ourselves from any un unused things, emotions and memories, on the old things that we had. The other one is to be grateful, to be grateful for what we have. How beautiful are the things, even they are not beautiful, but we make it beautiful.
mm,
We bring to heal that relationship of by admiring ourselves. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, look at your earrings. Look at
mm,
your hair. Look at your clothes. It's so beautiful. We begin to empower and inspire each other. That's a grateful. That's for being grateful, and also for the things that we don't have. That's the third thing. Things that we don't have. I wish happiness. I wish joy. I wish celebration for my mother. More unity, more feeling, and more loving. I wish that she get healed. I pray for her to get to this and to get that. So we pray. This is our daily practice. This is what the ceremony is for,
it's
to
so beautiful
remember.
because you say one very important thing. It's not I'm going into the future and I say, like, I want this, this, and that. One thing I found so immensely beautiful was that you always, or when we step by step, you taught us like to really go into prayer and include others, to really, really like it's a prayer for not just us. And as you said, the remembering part. I would like you to say one sentence. What does remembering mean for you?
Remembering to
Mm,
remember. To remember is like to describe your existence, what you have been before.
mm,
Be grateful and accept that.
mm,
Because when you are into this topic, when you are into this time moments, it's because this is not new for you. You have been here before and you're just remembering. That's why you resonate with it.
mm,
You resonate with this feeling, visions, understanding. It means that you have done it before. It means that there's something that makes click inside of you, that resonates, that
mm,
you agree with. So remember yourself again. When you remember to correct many things in your life.
mm,
And we remember in the prayer. And when we remember, it's like to take action to fix these things. For example, what we remember is about the prayer is that we pray for those who are in prison. We pray for people who are in violence in their family. We pray for the children who are homeless, for people, fathers and mothers raising their children. We're praying for those who are asking for help in the hospital, for those who are dying, for those who are in sadness. So we pray for them. For those who don't have hands and don't have feet, they're suffering. We pray for them. We ask the Creator to take care of them. So we pray for anything that doesn't exist.
Would you like to close our room with a prayer in your native language?
Sure, and to pray for those who are homeless and for those who are needing the help, those who are asking for miracles today. So thank you so much for doing this interview and this podcast. And may it go through the right ears. May it bring consciousness. May it bring beautiful feeling. And if it doesn't, also may it get blessed, those people. In your hand with them, your home. Nimala kushka, nimala kushuchule, tikone la washine, kisanesin naka. Lakala kih, lakala skih, malkiyo shahao. Sashtikandi nimala khao, honsi khamsa bas. Sashtikandi nimala khao, sakhawe sakhamet. Nimal kyoshie, lakala khao. Adin la khao honsi, kaya iskosipa, kiwe rami arhut kwa. Anishki kwa anishin, kanuk tana, kasiha tana, kikwa tana nimala khao. Hanin nimala qin mas khao hi kutun, kunutsil, Kiko tema, de ekoptacha o, ane koptachiyo wa, ane tahinya kam koma, ane nlachaw sepa, linki kike suchbe, ane nlachaw ekoptache etzapal, ane nimlachir, etahin, nkikotuch, tobanem, kishin nimlachaw, emiskihet koshka, koshuchile. Sakawi sakamet si malchishira kalawakan anisha yesu si pachakir anikon nakaw tahingi kunash tikamwa na kasi hatan nakaw anski kasut sumayew ik chumil i malchish nakaw washakitsi gana behti kapana nakaw ni nakaw huna abas nakaw ni arun kwasi takin Sistem rakam lakhaw, soltero taro familia, kustra pre Alemania, lakhaw. Matushika ishka kawish kanilisto, matushi sakawin sakamet lakhaw. Nung skin lakhaw para bakir, prokabakir, para sik parikam, at kushka, at kushule, maltios. Maltia.
It's so beautiful to hear you.
Mhm.
Is it possible to translate it or not? I was
Or
wondering
trans
because
early.
trans early. I know that this is not what I want you to do right now, but I would love to know in general if, because I got a book that fell into my hand, braiding sweetgrass. You maybe know it. It was a recommendation of Mariana, and she's talking also about learning her native language, and she figures out in the process that there are no words like, for example, a port. That's not like, there's like no nouns, and she's looking for them, or there's such some, because everything is living. So it's like the place where the water is flowing in. And she, as being raised as an American, she kind of is like, coming from North America, she's like, I couldn't grasp it. And she tries to, like, she talks about the process of trying to learn her language. And then I was wondering, is it translatable or not?
It's not translatable, but it's descriptable. You can describe them. And what basically he was like talking about when we pray, when it comes to the words of praise, of giving gratitude and asking for the support and giving gratitude to what you were giving and shown. What I was asking, like, grandfather sky, grandmother earth, energy of this day, thank you for this conversation, and whoever's going to listen this talk, may it be blessed by these words. I am praying, I am closing this talk. I'm on this energy. I'm closing, thanking the spirit of the sky, the fog, the clouds, the rain. I'm asking on this energy the help and support those who are running their blood on the roads, who are like people saying, like people who are have accidents, people who are getting hurt in their home, for the children, for those who are in sadness, those who have died today, and those people who are asking for support in the prison and hospital, those who are getting surgery, they're getting opened up, we call it. And like all of those people who are asking for miracles, we ask them to be healed, to be protected, and to be seen by the grace of God. And we bless the life of Kim and her family, her mother in Germany, and those people who are around her relationship. Then we close the energy on the sunrise, on the sunset, in the north and the south, heart of the sky, heart of the Mother Earth, and thank you all. So that's what we do. That's what we did.
I want to also say thank you to you for your time, for letting Noch flowing through you, sharing with us also very intimately your story, and also the inspiration to pray, to find these spaces, and to bring that also into our daily life. And I mean, it doesn't really have to be always with a cup of cacao. It can just start with maybe this morning of waking up and opening the eyes and just realizing, whoa, it's a new day. Like, how here I am. And of course, when is your next facilitators training? I will put it underneath, but so people already know. if you want to come to Guatemala and you want to learn from Tata Izaias, there is a possibility 2024, I think. And when is it?
September 3rd until the 24th.
Okay. I will put it underneath so you guys can also, if you want to join, if you want to fly over, if you want to know more, you can find him at Level of Cacao on Instagram as well. And also thank you for all of you who are out there and who are listening and following. I hope also for you it was a really beautiful journey, and you could take things out of it and maybe also already apply something that would mean the world to me, to us. And thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Kim. Many
Have
blessings
a
to you, and
yes, you
have good
too.
sleep.
Yeah, and have a good day. Bye bye, and saludos a Isabel. Besos a
Gracias,
todos,
querida.
a todos. Ciao.
Salud, Kim. Bye.
Hey you, hey you. I'm very thankful that you have joined today's episode. And if you want to know more about me, you can find me on Instagram at das Herz einer Frau, the heart of a woman, and also die Kakaohüterin, los guardianes del cacao, the guardians of cacao. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, and I see you next time.